Daniel Ward, and I have written Everything I Own.
Hi there, my name is Tobi King Bakare, and I've written Before I Go. So Daniel, tell me everything about Everything I Own.
Yeah, cool. Everything I Own is a play about a man who has recently lost his dad during the times of COVID and Black Lives Matter. And he's in his dad's house going through all of his dad's stuff, that process that a lot of people go through when they lose a parent or they lose someone, and he's packing things away. And he's listening to all this kind of like old reggae music that his dad used to play, and he's reflecting and it's funny and stuff. But his son is really annoyed with him because his son is really active in the Black Lives Matter movement and doesn't know why his dad doesn't like want to get involved in it. And basically, he doesn't want to tell his son that when he was younger, he was part of the Brixton riots in the 1980s, and he remembers being young and fighting and thinking that the world was going to change forever, and he sees his son doing the same thing, and he doesn't want to damp his hype. He doesn't basically want to tell him that he doesn't believe it because he's been through it. And his son thinks the Black Lives Matter is going to change everything. But then his son gets really vexed with him and is thinking he's basically, for want of a better word, his son thinks he's weak because he's not engaging in it. But he also thinks about how he used to think his dad was weak. Okay. Because his dad would go to work and people would be rude and racist to him, and his dad wouldn't say anything. And he always used to think his dad was so it's like a thing, it's like a generational show. Yeah. Where he where you see where he's at in his life and you see the journey and all of that. But it's funny as well. It's a funny show. It's got a lot of themes, but yeah.
It's such a cycle that as well. I always think about that, even from back in the day, from Martin Luther King times. They probably, some people doing the marches thought after the civil rights movement, it's sorted. Okay, we're gonna be all right. And to this day, it's still
He actually says something because it started with police brutality, right? That's what the riot started with, and he was like, well, after that, the police could never do anything to a black person again. Yeah, do you know what I mean? That's what he thought. And then 40 years later, George Floyd happens, and then, so anyway, that's my shit. Let me flip the question, baby. Hey. Tobi King Bakare. What is your show about?
So, Before I Go is about a young boy, a young Londoner, typical boy. He loves parties. He throws a lot of parties, talks to a lot of girls. He's very sociable. But the irony is that he can't talk about his feelings. He can't express himself emotionally. He can't go deeper. In the show, he basically, isn't a spoiler, he dies. And he goes to limbo, so the afterlife. And in the afterlife, he's basically met by this character called Messenger, who tells him that the only way to return back to the living world is to learn how to express himself. And he's like, cool, I can do that. And basically in this afterlife space, he learns to express himself through poetry, spoken word, movement, singing song. And basically, that's kind of the body of the show. Reasons why I wrote the show is because I saw a lot of characters like myself when I was younger who, were like that. We could talk, we could do all these things. When it came to serious things, even to do with our family, we shut down and we hold all this tension, hold all this trauma. And I basically wanted to just, run a show that was fun, but still had all these elements and still showed a real character. A real sort of London boy. But that's basically it.
And you're in it?
Yeah. So
and you're in it.
Also performing in it as well.
Wicked.
Which is great. It's good fun.
Love that. So, following on from that, why did you write this play?
It came from a monologue called Mandem. That was basically, it's almost like a slam poetry sort of piece. It feels a bit like that. But it was kind of just my reaction to how I felt the term mandem was being portrayed in the media. Growing up, I was quite protected. So I have an older brother who was very much involved in that life. But I was always on the outskirts. I always seen, but I never really dabbled in it as much. Even if I wanted to at that age, it was like my brother kept me very protected. And because of that, a lot of the people around me in my community, they just protected me as well. I almost had like 10 older brothers from the area who would just like be there for me and get me stuff and sort me out. And they always showed me mad love. Even though they had things going on in their life, they always showed me mad love. So I was like, cool. I was getting frustrated, like, nah. At least she was walking down the road and I saw one of my elders and he spotted me and I was like, nah, you know what? I'm gonna write something for the mandem. And basically, I performed that monologue and it got huge love, it got huge respect. And I was like, cool, I'm gonna build on it. So then I wrote the whole show, which was basically just that monologue. That monologue still exists in the show, but then you see where it comes from and you see how a character needs to hear that. You see the character in the show needs to hear that monologue, basically see a version of that. But yeah, that was kind of why I wrote the show and how I wrote the show as well. It literally came off the top of that monologue. And then, yeah, just kept on adding to it. You know how the drafts go, you just keep on building.
Yeah, but yeah. You don't stop.
How about yourself? How did your show come about?
Whole Truck Theatre approached me, basically. It was, I'd worked there as an actor before. And then it was just after COVID and all of their programming had gone dark. They had nothing there because they didn't know what to do. And they wanted to start back up with plays that were like single person plays because it was like a lower COVID risk, and then there was like social distancing in the theatre and all of them things there. And so they came to me and then they were like, basically, do you want to write this play? And often with me, what I do, is I look at things that like either really annoy me or really scare me, right? And during that time, I'd seen a lot of people in my community lose parents. I'd had people in my family who I lost, not necessarily to COVID, but it just happened during that period. So I was going through a lot of that. And I was seeing a lot of, but it was also a lot of people were vexed because of the Black Lives Matter movement. I had cousins that went to Bristol and threw the thing in the, So like I was it was a mad time. And then it started, then I started having conversations about it and wanting to create a character that was reflecting on it at that time. Spoke to bare guys, bare people, and then, that's how it came about, really.
Cool. How was like the writing process? Was it long? Was it short? I think it's either one or the other. It's either like, you get it all out and you're like, oh, cool, nice, trust. Or it's like this long process where you're like, okay.
I struggled to remember it, you know. It was probably, there were parts of it that definitely took a lot longer than others. And because I was talking to people and they were telling me these mad things that happened in the 80s, like stuff that I didn't, you know. Like, so some of it was just like making their stories dramatic and making them, you know, grounded in a real person. And some of it was from my lived experience. There's parts of my grandfather in that play because there was stuff he used to do that I put in that play, do you know what I mean? So part of it's lived experience, part of it was, but I do remember the process being really enjoyable. I worked with a director called Amanda Huxtable, and she was the one who got me in to do it. And yeah, man, it was sick, man. We just used to catch jokes, laugh, and then she would come back and because, like we said, it was funny. It's funny. I know it's a serious subject, but it's jokes, like. And yeah, man, we had a great time. How was the writing process for you? Because to expand a monologue in that way. That's a big undertaking. That's something.
Yeah, I underestimated how difficult it would be to expand the monologue, because then you're like, okay, so basically the monologue changed. Like, obviously the context of it would have changed, it has dramatically. But the process of writing it was actually, it's that thing with deadlines. So similarly, I was approached by Theatre Peckham to partake in their Fringe Festival. I think that was their first Fringe Festival, was last year as well. And I think because it was pretty new to everyone, they were just like, yeah, bring your show. And I was like, cool, I'm gonna write this show then. And then I remember there was like 3 months from when I heard about the opportunity. So I was like, cool, let me just go into the hub. And fortunately, I already write poetry. That's kind of like my thing. To share sometimes, not to share sometimes. And because of the context of the play, I already had some poems that already fit. So in a way, it kind of just worked out.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, nah.
There was there was a, I can't remember the play. I think it's called Portraits. Portraits. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But I've seen there was one where one was a poet and then they turned it into, and it was sick.
You're talking about, is it Yomi's play? Maybe.
No. I didn't see that one, but I did know about that one.
That one was good.
So you said this show's been on at Theatre Peckham?
Yes, so it was first on at Theatre Peckham last year, May, and then we was on at Camden People's Theatre, I think 2 months ago.
Okay, yeah,
So quite recently.
Yeah.
And yeah, now we're in Brixton.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, the journey of that as well has been great, because a big part of my show is the musicality of it.
Yeah. There's
a live drummer on stage, and the plan from the get-go was to have live instruments. That's what I wanted. But money, budget. So I was like, what can I afford? My cousin drums. Like, come in, bro. But basically, so each time the show has gone again, there's been more sort of foundations. So we've added. And this time in Brixton House, happy to announce that we have a saxophonist.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's going to be really fun.
Drums and saxophone.
Drums and saxophone.
Ooh. So trying something, man. Man. All right.
And within in the show, it makes sense. It's not like one thing that I was really aware of. It's not gimmicky. It's not like I wanted to have these instruments. It's very much a part of the show.
They exist for a reason.
They exist for a reason. And I think to me that's so important in theatre in general, but especially in this show, because these things are really they're really key in getting the sensitivity. Like the drums in the previous versions have been like the beat, so like, it's very rhythmic. And when like Ajani's the main character, when he's like just flowing and he's having fun, the beats are having fun, and it's like you see this drummer. And now with their sax, I think we can really go into like the sensitivity of like Ajani, of when he's in his more somber moments, to hear that like soft sort of jazz sound. Yeah, I'm really excited.
That's
really excited. How about yourself? How many times and where's everything going to be?
Oh yeah, so it was on that whole truck in 2021.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was one of the first series of plays that was put on after lockdown.
After lockdown,
so it was mad.
I can imagine.
It was
the
mad.
seats, was it like one seat?
Yeah. It was like, I think it was like 1 seat, big gap, 1 seat, big gap, 1 seat, big gap, and then 1 seat, big gap, 1 seat, big gap, and then the 2 rows back, 1 seat, big gap, but in between it was mad. It was a great experience, but also it was edgy. It was like, do you know what I mean? Like, it was a bit weird. So it would be really nice to bring it back and to do it again and to see, now that the world's changed, how it's received. What's really funny about it is because some of the arguments that Errol makes, the character's called Errol, some of the arguments he makes, boy, they've held up, man. Some of the things he says these people, he basically says in a few years some of these people won't be here, and so and I wonder how that's gonna land now.
Wow.
Because it was written right at that time.
Wow.
And yeah, he wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong. Not everybody, but there's a few people that you ain't done what you said. You know, you ain't backed it the way you said you was gonna back it. But what was great was that I reached out to Whole Truck earlier this year, and they'd already kept the set. So even though it'd been on, 2 years ago they'd kept the set, so that was great.
Yeah.
I didn't worry about that. So yeah, got a set. It's a different cast, it's a different creative team, but yeah, man, excited for it, man.
That is exciting, man.
Yeah.
How does it feel like? I'm not sure of your writing experiences before, but how does it feel to write a show and then see it?
Oh, no, it feels good. I think when it comes to me, like I've written quite a few plays now.
Okay, yeah.
When it comes to me, I kind of write it and then I kind of let it go. And then I let people do what they want with it. This one's going to be slightly different because I'm actually directing it. I'm co-directing it with a girl called Danielle Casarate. So that's going to be a really interesting experience as well. How does it feel to be in something that you've written? Is this the first thing you've written?
So this is my debut play.
Yeah, but you've written poetry
I've
before
written
that.
poetry,
Yeah.
and like more screen stuff in general. But I've never written. Well, actually, I've never written a play that I haven't been involved in heavily. Do you know what I mean? It's like I've never just like been external writer. I've still kind of been an iteration of it. So I find it really interesting. I'm trying to be like you, basically. I'm trying to find a way to basically make that, because I'm very scared that when I do it, I won't be able to like not be in the room or not really care because it's like
There's no matter. There's no right answers to do it. Like everyone's got to figure out their own way of doing this thing. Like there's no, even if you had to be in a room, you have to be involved in every single part of the process. That's still part of your process. Do you know what I mean? That's the way you do it. Like there's no right answers to it. Like you just have to figure it out as you go along. Yeah. And just got to know why you're writing the thing you're writing, who you're writing it for. That was one of the questions. That was a perfect. Yo, wait, I didn't even mean that. But we might as well, innit?
It might as well.
Who is this play for?
So, like I said earlier, this play is predominantly for the mandem. In that sense, but mandem isn't exclusive to men, in my opinion. Mandem is like women as well. In my life, there's been many people I will call mandem. So it's more about what that phrase means, and ultimately just the working class community. Like especially when I was a younger age, I was really sort of lost in working class sort of, what do you call it, way of living in terms of like all this, like from youth club culture and all of those things, and where you'd find yourself and all these like block parties and stuff, all of these things that are really bred in the culture. I was very much in it, and I think it's an ode to when I was younger, and even when I wasn't trying to make good decisions, but like the people that was around me that still supported me and helped me. I think it's definitely an ode to the mandem and the community as well. The play is set in Labatt Grove, which is where I was raised, and it's very much about West London too.
Yeah, man, that's wicked.
But,
yeah, man.
Even though we're in South London now, but West and South. We actually do have an affinity though. West and South.
Don't do this. It's okay.
I was like, it's okay. Someone asked me. They were
no, I understand. I do understand. Where and what you talking like Labatt Grove?
Yeah. You already knew it. Yeah. But then Kilburn's like the music.
Kilburn's
Northwest. I actually went to school in Kilburn, which is
did you? Yeah. It feels similar. It does feel similar, parts of it, definitely. So I'll give you that.
Whereabouts are you from? You said Croydon.
I'm from South. I'm from Mitcham.
Okay.
It's not far from here. But yeah, I grew up around here. And I'm excited for my play to be here.
Yeah.
And like I said, the Brixton rights feature heavily in my play, so to have it kind of in Brixton, at Brixton House.
It's powerful, man.
Yeah, I think it's really nice. And also there's a Caribbean community here that are directly referenced in the play.
Yeah.
Like, and there are people that experienced.
So just to throw it back to you, is that who your play's for? Is that who you say your play's for then?
I think, yeah, definitely. I think it's definitely for community in Brixton, the community in this space right now. But then again, because I think the more specific you are, man, like, the more people can relate to it. It's about anybody who can relate to losing someone, anybody can relate to their experiences during that Black Lives Matter time. It's for anyone who wants to laugh, it's for anyone who wants to have a good time, it's for anyone who wants to think. Like I know who I'm writing it for, but in that, everybody's welcome.
Everybody, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I hear you.
And people will come to have a good time.
Yeah.
So
sounds lit, man.
So this yours, baby. Gates of Limbo.
Yeah. How's your Housemates experience been going?
Great, yeah. I'm really enjoying it. I've got some friends that were involved in Housemates before, and they've said similar things. Like, it's just a really good thing. Like, I don't even like. It feels great to be part of something that programs and centers artists, and does it in a positive way.
Yeah.
How's yours been?
Yeah, good, man. It's like, without saying too much, it feels nice to be in such a supportive festival. Where the theatre really gets involved in the artists, and they're really there. Really. It can feel lonely, especially with festival shows. It can feel really lonely. It's like, bring your show. And it's only the last 2 days, which is tech, is when they actually go, okay, so what's the show about? It can feel like that. Whereas I was expecting that. It's been like from the beginning. We've just been here. I've been to Brixton now so many times in the past like month, just because I'm part of the festival. And I just feel like it really has become somewhere where I'm familiar with. That I've worked here, like I've been here. I know the people. So I think it's been amazing. I'm really sort of, I'm still in awe of it. Like, yeah, cool. Let's take this in. Yeah. I know you're not going to be around to catch the shows because you're a busy man. But yeah, some of the shows that I'm looking forward to is the Wi-Fi good in hell? Just the title sounds lit. Don't know what it's about at all. Want to see that. I know Useless and a few others are just really different. Some I'm not sure if it's Useless one I've run. But then I think play with form, like And I love plays that play with form and that's like break the boundaries.
I think there's a show called, I think, Is That You? Yeah, I think that does that as well. Well, it just keeps on. Oh wow, I've heard this. It goes fast.
I love that. We're turning into a society that needs that as well. Even with our 30-minute Netflix shows now, how much an hour anymore? It's only like fast, like quick things. They really sell us. They really sell to us. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, man.
As am I. When is your play on?
My play is on the 18th of July to the 22nd of July.
Wicked.
How about yourself?
Same, 19th to the 22nd of July.
Well,
Same, we're on at the same time.
Same time, but different spaces.
But I'll be able to see yours because I'm not in mine. You're in yours. I'll come and see yours. Don't worry about that. I'll see mine and I'll see yours.
Maybe there'll be have you got matinees though during the week?
Yeah.
I might be able to catch a matinee. Maybe I might catch a matinee.
Okay. Yeah.
I would really be interested in seeing that, especially with like topics on the riot. I find BLM was so interesting. Even like having friends and families from outside of London. I think London, we forget how much we're involved. But like you said about Bristol, a lot of people, like, life's changed after BLM, like really drastically. I feel like in London, the culture's slightly gone a bit positive, a little bit. But in places like Bristol and like, where do you want to say, Milton Keynes and all these type of places, it really made a difference. It's really impacted.
It was interesting that because this play is actually set in Hull, because it was written, it was originally commissioned for Hull Truck, and so it's set in Hull, and even his relationship is slightly different because his community has been predominantly white people. So it's a different
It slaps differently, man. It really does. Interesting, man. Looking forward to it.
You too, brother. Please make sure to come and see our plays. Everything I Own.
And before I go, which is going to be on from the 18th to the 22nd of July
Brixton House Theatre.
at Brixton House. But both at the same time.
It's fine.
See both.